Mask. We haven't been here in a while, y'all. So I'm excited for the guest that we are having today. So, welcome to Beyond the Mask, a space where we have real conversations about plant medicine, healing, and the ways these tools can help us reconnect with ourselves and support healing within our communities. Today, I am joined by Dr. Roseina Britton, PhD, LPC, NCC, a counselor, educator, clinician, and researcher specializing in trauma informed care, sexual health, and sexual awareness. She is also the founder of Serenity Healing Counseling Center and Cultivating Minds LLC, where her work centers around creating emotional safety, inclusive and holistic approaches to wellness. I'm especially excited about today's conversation because we're bringing together the worlds of mental health, personal healing, and plant medicine, and having an open conversation about what healing can look like beyond some of the traditional approaches we've been taught. Welcome today. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and it's a real honor and pleasure to be able to share this platform and share my experience with you.
Yes, it's an honor. It's an honor to have you here. So first, you know, I just want to bring up how, you know, a lot of us understand that plant medicine and psychedelics and things of that nature has over a long time, a long span, has been having a negative connotation behind it. So this platform is built to basically help destigmatize and educate people behind the benefits of what plant medicine can truly provide to our communities and just to our individual journeys. So when it comes to plant medicine, psychedelics, what was your first introduction to your first experience? And what are some key takeaways that you can say that you experienced from this?
So, I've been looking into psychedelics for a little while. I want to say around 2020 is when I really started to dive into it, and it was an interesting career pivot for me at the time because I was really trying to figure out, like everybody else, what we can do online, and what are people needing. And so I started to see a lot more information and a lot more people talking about it within the field, but it wasn't very popular. Now, on the other hand, it is getting a lot more, and there's a lot more clinics established, especially some in Arizona and New Mexico. And so I was researching it, looking into it. And for me, I wanted to have an experience because I didn't want to suggest it to someone and not know it and what it felt like on firsthand, right? So I wanted to experience the journey. So then that way I could really speak to like the overall method and like usefulness, like the actual takeaways from it. So the thing that I took away from it was, honestly, I don't allow a lot of communication to happen sometimes between my heart and my mind. And that was really what took place for me during my experience. And I couldn't come in and try to control it or, intercept and be like, nope, not that thought. Nope, not this feeling. Like I had to just let it go. I had no choice, it was just kind of like
Right.
it was like a flood of emotions. It was a flood of thoughts, and I just had to go with the ride, and the way the way I felt and the imagery that I got while I was in this experience was, it felt like I was deep in the ocean. Like I felt like I was going very, very deep, so deep. I started to see like shipwreck ruins, and I started like I had scales and tentacles, and I'm like, I'm becoming this sea creature. And
Yeah.
it was really cool and ironic because I'm into astrology and things like that. So I'm a Cancer and I'm a water sign. So it really showed me that this is truly the depth of my emotions and my thoughts. I went there, and I think that was one of the things that I took away, was that it really just allows you a moment to be very present with your feelings. It doesn't allow you to run away. And if you try to run away, I think that's where a lot of people would kind of have a difficult experience because you're fighting still. So,
Yes, for sure. I always tell people, like, when people talk about negative trips or negative experiences during trips, the first thing I always mention is you probably were resisting. You probably were resisting yourself and just facing whatever emotions or whatever you need to face within yourself that comes up. So I think that, that's one thing I just love about mushrooms. Mushrooms, they put you in a whole different place of yourself where you can really, you know, just ask yourself, what is it that I need to deal with? What is it that I need to see for myself? What is it that I need to release? And you have to be ready. Like
you do.
you have to be ready, because if not, then the mushroom's gonna be like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you something. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a little talk.
Yes, yes. And for me, it was like, you know, again, it was a moment to slow down because I think we get so accustomed to doing and moving and being that, it really took me, like, it made me pause and really sit with some feelings that I kept busying myself to avoid. And
Right.
so I cried, but I also laughed, and I felt like that my inner child had a moment to just exist, and it was just like, all right, let's have fun. Let's
Yeah,
just enjoy the ride.
very much so. Yeah. Tapping into the inner child.
Yes, girl.
It's a healing experience.
It is. It's so
So,
healing.
before your own experience, what was your professional and personal perspective on psychedelics and psilocybin?
So like I mentioned earlier, it was something that I was curious about because I started to notice the trend with talk therapy, and it's still happening where people want results fast, and so, there's techniques such as EMDR, which is rapid eye movement. And it's a type of therapy so that people who are experiencing PTSD and things like that can, even depression and anxiety, can have fewer symptoms doing that type of therapeutic work. And so there's so many other ways to kind of just step away from just doing talk therapy, right? Where you just come to somebody's office, you talk about the things, and it's beneficial. I'm not saying that it's not helpful or beneficial. It's just that I'm seeing a trend that everything has to happen quick. Everybody wants a shot or a pill or something to just, alleviate or just get through. Some things. And there's just some things that you just cannot get a quick fix and a workaround, right?
Right.
So I was really just thinking, okay, if there is something that can allow someone to um, release their inhibitions and feel the rain on their skin, just kidding. But really, but truly just like relax, because I think sometimes what happens in therapy too is like, it's this it's like the surface level at times, unless you
Mm,
get like go through a number of sessions to really trust your therapist and trust the process. Sometimes you can stay at the surface. So I wanted something that would, like, I wanted to see if there was something that can bring people deeper into their experience, but also provide a sense of healing at the same time. And so
right.
I started to look into psychedelics, and there's so much more research now on this that I'm just like, I'm really excited. Um, I'm excited, also concerned, because it can be misused and it is still misunderstood,
Very
right?
much so.
And so for my first time, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm looking into drugs, you know, for the people. But I even contemplated, okay, so you know and it's one of those things where you ethically, we have to be mindful. But if you're knowing that this is a type of treatment, there's ways to do this in an ethical manner, right? Because the
Right.
one thing is that you want to make sure that the person, while you're doing this with therapy attached to it or counseling attached to it, is you know it's intoxication basically. So I am doing work with you while you're under the influence,
Right.
regardless, right? And I think that's where the professional, like, oh, I don't know, but
Mhm.
seeing some and being able to see people actually using it and being ethical, and there's ways to incorporate it in a healthy and ethical manner, that kind of reduced that resistance.
Very much so. Yeah. And I think, with education, just comes a deeper understanding. And like once you have that education and once you have that understanding, you can approach it from a better mindset, and you can approach it in a way where it's safe and to a point where you're like, okay, I know what steps to take. I know to be intentional. I
Mhm.
know that I can go in this with support, because support is a really huge, thing when it comes to using psychedelics.
It is.
Especially me being a certified psychedelic integration coach, I tell people like, hey, make sure that when you're stepping into this, that you are preparing your mindset in a way to where you have an understanding. Like, do your own research, do your own due diligence, and be intentional. Like, write down your intentions. Journaling is something
Mhm.
that is always amazing in any form of like any kind of therapy.
It is.
And I truly love the mindset behind like just changing the way we view professionalism, because I feel like professionalism is something that was kind of taught to us in a way, and it kind of coincides with capitalism.
Mm,
So our understanding of it, I feel like, is changing, and we're redefining what professionalism is, and that professionalism can coexist in the same spaces as healing. And I think people should have the understanding, like, you know, we create all these different identities for who we are as a person, and we want to show a certain kind of person that we are. But at the end of the day, like, we have to remember that we are still humans. We're still learning. We're still understanding what it even means to like just evolve.
yeah, yeah, that's so true. And as you were speaking, it made me think about this whole thing of like, um, like substance use, right? Because it is, and it's a class type of drug. I don't know what class level it is, but it's a class drug. And because of that, there are, that goes back to that stigma and, the misconceptions associated with it. But I feel like a lot of people experience different things in their lives, with different use of certain drugs. People don't believe that alcohol is a drug, but it is a drug, right?
Yes.
It's classified as a drug, but it's more socially acceptable. So I think that it, like you said, it's like now having to reshape what is acceptable, and socially acceptable. And I think like a lot of people are going away from alcohol, right? And are finding
Yes.
alternative methods to not necessarily experience a high, but to enjoy themselves in a way that doesn't feel like it's damaging to your body,
Yes.
right? And so that's the other part about psychedelics that was interesting to me as well, because there weren't any damaging, if it's done correctly, in moderation, managed, supervised, it can actually be very healthy.
Very much so. Yes. That's one of the things I teach on my platform is that we're taught that drugs are medicine and that medicine are drugs.
Yes.
I always
Yes.
tell people that.
Yeah. And
um,
I'm thinking like, wait, what if I actually was able to use the other drugs that they're saying are off limits? Like what if we were able to really understand that? And other countries do.
very much so.
UK has been doing this for a long time. Um, where they're actually utilizing different types of drugs, right? The ones that we classify as illegal here are actually used within their medical system, and integrated into their care a lot differently. And
Hmm.
America, that's a whole nother conversation with how America's medical system is set up to begin with. We're only meant to fix. We're not here to prevent, and
Hmm.
that's part of the problem as well. So
Very much so. Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole different.
whole nother.
I I have some thoughts about the medical system.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you as someone with a PhD in mental health field, what made you open up to personally exploring a psilocybin journey?
I was curious. I was curious, and I feel like again, it's one thing to have knowledge, it's another thing to have an experience. But when you have both of those combined, I think it really strengthens, what you're able to articulate to someone to say, "Hey, yeah, I can talk you through this," even if it was a negative experience, I could still speak to, hey, this is why it was a negative experience, and these are the things you should avoid, and so for me, it was really just about um, giving someone an opportunity to know that I've done it too. So there's no shame. I'm not pushing anything on you, and I think people become a little bit more comfortable knowing that you've experienced the thing that you're talking about or trying to get them to partake in. So I
Right.
can't tell my clients, you should go to therapy and continue to come see me if I'm not doing therapy myself, you know?
Very much
So
so.
that's how I have
Yeah.
the same attitude. Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, it definitely it's so funny because I actually seen on Instagram the other day a meme that this guy had posted where he was basically pretending to be the therapist and a person who was taking a psychedelic experience with the therapist.
Yeah.
And the person asked him, as the person taking the psychedelics, he was like, "So, how many times have you done this? What was your experience like? What am I going to feel?" And the person, he was like, the therapist was like, "I actually have never done this before. Yeah, so I don't even know what you're about to experience, but good
Good luck.
luck."
Right. See you on the other side.
Which
That's crazy.
in reality, if you think about it, that doesn't make a person feel good. That doesn't make a person feel safe. So then they have to go into their experience kind of like, oh, wow, I don't even know what I'm about to experience. I don't even know. Like they don't feel grounded in their experience
Hmm.
because the person that's supporting them doesn't even know what it's like.
Yeah.
So I think that is so important for especially therapists, facilitators, anybody who is supporting a person's journey to have that awareness, to have that experience as well, so that they can, one, educate the person on what it's like or what their experience was like, because that grounds a person knowing like, hey, I'm going to be okay. And I actually can come at the end of this with a whole different perspective about who I am as a person and just have a lighter side of looking at things versus such a chaotic way or such a negative
Hmm.
influence to how they should view the experience.
Hmm.
So I think that's amazing.
Hmm.
So was there anything about the experience that challenged you or what you previously understood about the mind, emotions, or healing?
So yes, absolutely. I thought it was going to be a chaotic experience. I thought that my mind and my emotions were going to be hard to understand. I also felt like, yeah, I was going to be so under the influence that I wouldn't know what was up and what was down. Like I thought
Right.
it was going to be that kind of experience, but actually, it really surprised me to actually have the dialogue, like within myself to be like, I know and see what's happening. I am still analyzing in a way and interpreting as things are going. And I think, people talk about, oh, the colors are gonna bleed, or you're gonna start seeing colors. And I did. I saw I saw colors and abstract shapes like a kaleidoscope, like that at times. That was an experience. It was beautiful, and I can see it just made me appreciate art in a different way, right?
Mhm.
And I literally, after that experience, I actually did some art, and so that was cool. That was dope. um and actually looking at the piece now, I'm like, I wonder if this was actually from what I remembered, because it's like
Probably
it
so.
probably is. It's so abstract.
Was it a painting?
It's a painting, and it's
Mhm.
like I didn't use brushes. I actually just like poured some paint onto the canvas and kind of like moved it around and used a straw to blow into the
Yeah.
direction. It was just real funky. I just
That sounds
enjoyed it.
magical.
Yeah, it was so magical. And I had glitter paint in there too. I was like, oh, this is so fun. But I think the other part that, well, the color and the abstract things wasn't the part that changed me or challenged me. I think it was really acknowledging that I need to stop trying to manage myself and just be. Um, and that was the most freeing part for me because being being a helping professional or just I think in most instances people are like high functioning like people with depression and anxiety. However, in most instances, especially when you have to like perform in certain areas, it can look a lot different, you know. And so I'm like, man, I am like not very nice to myself sometimes, and I can be so hard and so rigid. And that moment actually made me realize like how rigid and boxed in I was making myself. And I felt so free after, where I just was like, literally, feel the inhibitions and just let it go. You know,
Yes.
what are you holding on to this so much for? This, and a lot of it was identity, a lot of it was my responsibility, and it was just like, let it go. Just be. And I
Yes.
felt so good.
That's amazing. I love that so much. Yeah. I swear, like, just being able to shed layers to yourself and come to that sense of, wait, no, I'm all right just being who I am, being authentically me.
Hmm.
Because, as I mentioned earlier, especially in the professional setting, there's a certain identity that you have to uphold and show people. And I think the more free that you can be within yourself and being able to freely express that to people, I think that does so much for your heart, and it does so much for your spirit. And it does so much more for you in that professional way, too, because you get to express yourself in a way where it's like, okay, no, there's no one holding a gun to my head, or there's no one holding me to this standard. I'm holding myself to this standard.
Yes.
And then when you come to that, understanding and that understanding, then you get to say, you know what?
Hmm.
Let me just be me. And I know me being me, a lot whoever doesn't accept it, they're not for me. And whoever is
Exactly.
for me will be for me, especially in every aspect of your life. So I love that so much.
Yes.
Mushrooms are amazing. Um, So, without sharing anything that you rather keep private, what were some of the biggest breakthroughs or realizations that came forward for you during your experience?
Oh, it was validation, it was confirmation that my younger self was like, girl, I'm in here. Like, let us play. She definitely, I think as you mature and you kind of matriculate through life, you start to weigh like what actually gets your emotional response, right? And sometimes it's about survival, and you're like, okay, this loss, this change, this particular life experience, it 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 made a difference. It gave me a little gash. It gave me a little bruise. It gave me a little scar, and you
Right.
just kind of like move through it, right? It's like, okay, that was a thing. We got to go into the next thing. And a lot of times, I feel like society kind of conditions us to be like, all right, get it. Let's get up and keep going. I mean, when you think about how we get bereavement, like a bereavement period is like maybe 2 weeks, and then now you're
Hmm.
expected to just jump back into work, right? And so I think a lot of times we are kind of conditioned to just kind of get over it, and just let's go. And I think that moment, the breakthrough for me was like, whoa, so much happened. And I just kept going through. I just kept pushing. I tried to acknowledge it on the surface. I acknowledged it. I am sad. I am hurt. this is disappointing, to say and put the name on it, but to actually sit in the throes of like the real big emotions that are
Mhm.
attached to things like that, like loss and grief. Um, I didn't sit. And so this made me sit, and my younger self was like, yeah, this is what I've been over here trying to manage, and all I want to do is play, but you keep putting this stuff,
On
off
me.
to the
Yeah.
side and on me. I can't manage, right? And so I think in that moment it felt like she was very much alive and was like, get clearing it out, get it out of here, so we can have
Yes.
room to play. So that was my biggest breakthrough.
Very much so. Yeah, that
Hmm.
I swear, the inner child, she screams at us, she yells at us, she's throwing tantrums, and we're
Yep.
literally like the busy mom that's just like, go play, sweetie.
Yes.
Go play.
Hush. Hush.
It's all right.
Uh-huh.
And I mean that, and that's what it really is. Like it's the adult in us, the standard of being an adult, and whatever that looks like. And like you said, however we were conditioned to believe that we should just be go, 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 without
Hmm.
actually just taking time to just sit with ourselves, breathe,
Hmm.
take a second and just ask yourself, how am I feeling right now in this very moment? And when you get that moment, especially when you get to really sit with yourself and have all these things pretty much come up for you, it's a whole different ball game, I feel.
Oh
And I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed. Anytime I have an experience, I'm like, oh no, my inner child just really wanted to play. She wanted to scream. She wanted to jump for joy. She just needed more joy. She wanted to run outside
yeah.
and go hug a tree.
Yes. Literally.
She wanted to go talk to
Yes.
the trees and sing to the birds. And that's truly, especially as women, like, because one thing that I really want to be able to teach moving forward is women in, being able to connect with plant medicine and being able to shed those layers that we have to uphold on so many different levels. We have to be the mother, the teacher,
Mhm.
the professional, the
Mhm.
wife, the all these different identities that we have to carry. And but we don't get time to ourselves to just sit with ourselves and say, how am I feeling? How am I doing? Do I even have the room or space to pour into others? Or do I just need to take a little bit of time to myself to pour into myself so that I can then, continue to pour into others? But we can't do anything. We can't do much of anything if we are just drained
Yeah.
and we're running in circles and creating all these different cycles. So I inner
Mhm.
child, 3 points, 4 points, five
Yes.
points for inner child because she's there.
She is there.
So, how did it feel to experience something personally that you have previously viewed primarily through an academic or therapeutic lens?
Mm. So, to be honest, there was a moment where like I did get very academic, or I would say more philosophical, and
Hmm.
just understanding the layers of mental health and
Hmm.
how we've tried, like the DSM is like this box, this neat little box where we find all these different ways to put the complexities of life into a particular diagnosis. And I think what that made me realize is that there's so much depth in what we feel, and there's so much range in the human emotion. And sometimes having or feeling things so deeply can almost pathologize or be pathologized into a diagnosis, such as, a mood disorder, or, um, schizophrenia or bipolar, because it's someone that's expressing themselves but it's not understood. And so we're
Right.
so quick to throw a label on it. Oh, you're bipolar, because you're able to express the range of emotion. We were never created to just have one type of emotion and feeling that we, you know, and through when you think about it
Exactly.
throughout your entire day, you ebb and flow with emotion, especially depending on what's given to you, right? And I think what emotional intelligence, and that's now the cool thing to say, um, but now it's about being able to keep a level of peace and homeostasis no matter where you rise and fall, right? And that
Yes.
takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of self actualization, self awareness to say, despite this thing that just triggered me, I'm still grateful, I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay, and I can move through this, right?
Yes.
Acknowledging what it did, how it made you feel, but still be able to move at a pace where it doesn't take you down with it, right? And that's a challenging thing, and a lot of people just, I included myself, struggle with the ability to just stay leveled when life is just really taking you through there, okay?
Take me through there. Take me through there.
I'm like, oh, wait a
Wait a
minute,
minute. Slow down.
slow down. Everybody calm down, okay? Everybody calm. So I think that was the thing, I started talking about it. Like, when someone feels deeply, it's automatically like there's something wrong with them. And it's almost like people are saying, don't feel deeply. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what social media is making it seem like, but it's like, be happy. Don't cry on the interweb. It's weird. I don't know. I can't keep up. It's hard.
You're like, don't show emotions.
Right. What am I supposed to do? But you want to be real and authentic. Okay. It makes no sense. And I think that's what came up for me. It was like, what? And I kept asking,
I don't know.
what? And then I don't know. I can't answer the what. I don't know. Yeah, that was the experience from the academic. I don't know. From the academic point of view, I don't know.
It's so true, though. It's so true. Like, just us as human beings, just having, like you said, having an understanding of just how to bring the body back to homeostasis is
Yes.
such an important thing that we should cultivate more of a deeper understanding of, and being able to shift our perspective and how we look at our lives, and just being more grateful for the things that we have in our life, which is another reason why I love connecting to plant medicine, because it really makes you, like you said, like just sit with yourself and really just connect to the things around you, and you have so much admiration and appreciation just of how life reflects you to you in so many different ways, like whether it be through your relationships, whether it just be through, your career, whether it be through so many different aspects of who you are as a person. You get to see it and you're like, oh, wait, this makes sense on
Hmm.
why I'm experiencing this. I need to sit with
Hey,
myself
get
for
it
a
now.
second. And then you
Yep.
can integrate that into your everyday life, because you don't have to just have the experience the one time and think, "Oh, I'm fixed. I'm good
Right.
now. There is no more healing for me."
That doesn't exist. Right. That's just
And
one layer.
right. And there's so many other parts that you get to witness and you get to connect with. So I'm just like, every time I have an experience, I'm like, yeah, I didn't know that about myself. Oh, that makes
Hmm.
a lot of sense. Okay, I do that and say that because, oh, okay, I was dealing with a mother wound, I was dealing with a father wound, I was
Yes.
dealing with all these different wounds that I just left gaping open, until I came to the actual understanding that I can heal these wounds. I can treat them. I can nurture them. I can love on them. And all it does is to take to the first step is just to become more aware of how you feel. So
Mhm.
I agree. I agree. And academically, I'm just like, what is that?
Right. Mm.
Unless somebody wrote something in a book and said, this is the way it should be.
That is
Um,
exactly what it is. No cap.
just
That's
like,
it. And a lot of other people also agreed.
right? It's like,
And it
ah.
just kept going. That's it.
And we know what that person looks like, so we're not even going to talk.
That part.
Hey, don't look like me or you.
Nope.
So, from your perspective as a mental health professional, where do you see potential for psychedelics within conversations around mental and emotional wellness?
Hmm. So, as I was preparing for this interview, I kind of did some research to kind of see exactly where it is. And I was actually really shocked, like at really the progression that it's making. Like, Oregon, Colorado, they have regulated services that they're offering out there. The FDA is now working on approving therapy for depression. And they're actually going through their late stages of the trial. So this should be something that's coming out. And when the
Man.
FDA, yeah, like when the FDA, because they move slow, honey, there's way too many things that are still out here that the FDA has not approved. So
Hmm.
for them to actually be working on this actively says and suggests a lot. And so, like I said, like with with the social, I want to say a social exception. I might not be using the correct terminology. Who cares? Um, but with that, especially with marijuana, right? Like
Yes.
now a lot more people are, drinking, eating, inhaling marijuana,
Hmm.
and in states where it's not legal, you still got a dispensary. Make it make sense. However, okay, given that that is taking that route, alcohol is now phasing out a little bit, especially with
Yeah.
this younger generation. I do see this now coming in as something that is going to be high in demand, and I also feel like it's going to be something that is going to be popular for a bit. For a bit, I think it's going to keep continuous upward trend for sure. For sure,
Yes, for
yeah.
sure. That's what's so exciting about everything is that, you first it'll start here. Like this is just the beginning, and we're actually getting to experience the beginning stages of
Hmm.
watching this evolve.
Hmm.
And when they figure out, I guess, regulation behind everything and
Yeah.
how they want everything to be so that they can make a little money off of it. Um, I think that, people being able to have access to these type of things, especially people who are dealing with PTSD, addictions,
Mm.
depression,
Mhm.
stress, just anything. Honestly, I feel like this is going to take a whole things to a whole different level within medical, within research, and within so many different other areas, especially even on a community spiritual level. Because as we are able to tap into the parts that we need to heal, we get to connect with each other on a different level, and
Mm.
we get to understand each other on a different level. And like we said earlier, with psilocybin, it just helps you connect with the things around you and you get to understand and appreciate them more. So I'm excited about the research that's going on. I'm excited about how, the laws are changing because this one small, what seems small for people is going to be so pivotal in so many other areas of what's legal or in how we view just plant medicine and herbal medicine
Mhm.
overall. And knowing that we have the power to heal our bodies, if we just connect more with these things and just ask them, like, I have this going on, I have that going on. Being able to talk to your medicine is important.
Yeah.
We're so quick to pop a Advil, a Tylenol, whatever, that we have no idea what is in a lot of
Mhm.
these over the counter
Mhm.
medicine. But when knowing where your medicine is sourced from and having that support and having that education behind it is going to be able to help people on so many different inner levels. So I'm excited for everything that's happening. I know they said too that California may be another place
Yes. Mhm.
that they're
Yes.
thinking about. Um, And I actually want to, soon enough have retreats in places like Mexico, Jamaica, places like that. So I'm really excited.
That is exciting. And I think, to that point and kind of circling back into what we talked about as far as stigma, I think the people of color, the Black community, I think there's a space for them to now get this knowledge and to have this
Yes,
understanding, because a lot of the trials and the research that is being done isn't quite including the people of our color, right? And
yes,
so it's important for us, especially you and I, as professionals who are doing the work and using this as a tool. It's important for us to make sure that we're educating our communities
mhm,
about it, because that misconception it leads to miseducation, and miseducation leads to foolery, which is what a lot of people are dealing with in America right now.
yes, very much so.
Tomfoolery.
Yes.
So we need to be educated.
Yes, and we can take that, like you said, the understanding of it, and even like the title behind a lot of these things, like because, like you were saying, like people view it as a drug, as like, I remember when I first heard about psychedelics. I remember the first time one of my friends had offered me, I think it was LSD, and I was like, "You're doing crack."
Drugs.
I was like, oh no, I would never. You can find me. Like, he's like, it's just acid. I'm like, acid? That will melt your mind.
This is your brain on drugs.
You will die. Do you want to die? Like, so,
I want to
so-
die.
and it's so crazy because my first experience was with DMT, which is one of the higher up psychedelics. Is one
Oh,
of the
okay.
more intense ones. So, and I had no understanding of it, but
Mm.
that first experience shifted me in my mindset into being like, wait a minute, we've been lied to.
This whole thing is a lie. Everybody,
Everybody.
wake up. For real.
So I'm excited to be in a space where I get to like just share with people like, hey, no, this is something that we, especially us as melanated, in Black Indigenous people, we need this because we have been the most hurt, we have been the most traumatized, we have been the most lied to about who we are as people. And it can help us connect back to our roots and have a
Mm,
deeper understanding of where we came from, who we are, how we should move and proceed in our lives and within ourselves and especially within our communities. So I'm excited because there aren't a lot of people that look like us that are teaching about psychedelics, and I think that kind of steers, Black people away
mhm,
from
mhm.
wanting to learn more because they don't feel comfortable if there's no one that looks like them. And it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, like indigenous people have always been, they're the originators and the people who started with plant medicine, right? And like you
Yes.
said,
Yes.
having us return back to our roots and acknowledging. So it is different. I'm a side eye you. You don't look indigenous and you're not of color. What are you doing telling me about this drug? I don't trust
Yes.
you. you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So
How you know?
I'm
Oh.
not doing that for you, right? I don't care. Like, and so again, it is important for us to have people who look like us, talking and administering this type of, assistance. So,
Very much so. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited. So, when it comes to traditional mental health approaches, sometimes we have limitations that psychedelic assisted approaches may help us explore differently. Or, I'm sorry, I said very wrong. Do you think traditional mental health approaches sometimes have limitation that psychedelic assisted approaches may help us explore differently?
absolutely, yes. I feel that traditional therapy, um, it kind of highlights and puts you in a space of defense. And I think that's when you realize, like, we're also constantly protecting ourselves. Like, that is what we're doing. And so the defensiveness stays and it's at the surface and it's there for many years and it's there with us a lot of the times, especially as we're talking through something. You want to be able to explain why you made that terrible decision to continue to talk to your ex, and it's
Hmm.
just like, yeah, now I gotta defend myself on why I made that decision versus, being able to go into depth, and really, explore, well, what does that communication still look like? What is it that you're looking for out of that communication, that continued
Right.
communication? And so I think that with psychedelics, it allows you to take down that wall, to take down that guard, and that space of being defensive, and it allows the talk therapy to actually work a little better because, again, you're not trying to filter through. Because even at times, it's like, we can be biased, right? And we want to make sure. There's times where I would say things to my therapist, even as a therapist or counselor, that I try to make sound different, so that it can be
Hmm.
more acceptable. It is
Dress
what
it
it is.
up.
Just, yeah, dress it up a little bit. I did this thing, instead of just saying it outright. I think we do that even with our medical doctors. You need to
Hmm.
tell your doctor what you putting in your body and but we don't. I only have 3 drinks a week. That's a lie. Okay.
Drunk a
Like,
whole bottle of tequila last night.
okay, right. Cut it out. Like, stop fronting. But it's important for us to be honest and upfront about it because then they can really help us and they have a clear picture of what they're dealing with. Because then you come
Yes.
back and be like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, it didn't work because the medication you're taking that you failed to mention counteracts this other one. So no wonder it didn't
Mm.
work, right? And so it's like that for therapy. It's like, if you don't tell me the full scope or the full understanding of the story, I can't give you a coping skill. I can't, help you or find, the solution to your problem if you're not giving me enough to work with. And so I think psychedelics allows you to go deeper and to even, think abstractly, which is okay. And it can
Yeah,
happen in therapy too. Yeah.
very much so. That's that's something a lot of people need to know because a lot of people just want to hold on so tight
Hmm.
to certain things and certain cycles in their life. They don't want to let go of them because they're afraid of. They're afraid of what could happen next. Like, okay, well, what does this
Hmm.
mean if I let go of this person? What does it mean if I let go of this job? What does this mean? It means that you get to start to heal. You get to start to, connect deeper with yourself. You get to remove the things that may be causing you to self sabotage out of your life. And that is what's so beneficial about being able to, connect with these type of medicines is that they reveal the truth to us.
They
You
do.
know, the truth of what we need to see and how we should proceed with, how we are living and what energy we're taking in on a daily basis because that's
Hmm.
important. That's important. And
It is.
I know I've run away from so many different things in the past, especially relationship wise. That's a whole nother video.
Okay. Okay. We could do that next time.
Especially relationship wise, because I think that's something important. People in their relationships, like people, who are in relationships that may not be serving them or may not be, helping them elevate to the next level within themselves. I think that a lot of the times we want to hold on to those relationships so bad because they feed a part of us, that a part of our egos. And I know what that experience is like, and being able to take psychedelics, my first experience, it helped me release that situation because I wasn't in a good situation. I was in a toxic
Hmm.
relationship, and being able to see the truth, like, your ancestors literally would knock on your door like, excuse
Hmm.
me, hello, yeah, run.
Run. Yes. Hmm. Hmm.
So, what misconceptions or stigma surrounding psilocybin do you think prevent people, including some mental health professionals, from having more informed conversations about it?
Okay, the biggest one is it's a drug.
Yes.
You did drugs, like you said, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that you'll get addicted,
Mm,
which is still, you can get addicted to anything though,
you can.
and that's why moderate and everything has to be done in moderation, right? Um, or you'll have a bad trip. you know that was the misconception that I came in with. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I was scared that I was going to have a bad experience. That was my biggest thing that I brought in with me. And even though it was at the forefront, it actually just went away. Like, it was just like, nope, this is what we're going to do, and relax, breathe. Hey, don't get scared now. It's okay. You did
Yeah.
do, you did take us something. And now it's coming in. Just calm down. Stay present. I know it's a little wild right now. Just stay present as much as you can. But I think that people have to realize that psilocybin isn't as addictive as some people assume. And I think the war on drugs definitely just really sets the tone for this.
Mhm.
That is honestly, and it's interesting how the war on drugs was like literally dropped into Black communities,
Very much
right?
so.
Yeah,
Very much so. Literally put right there at the
literally
corner. It's like
at
they
the
dropped the
corner
drugs. They dropped the drugs at the corner.
and just left. Hey, and now everybody like, what's this package?
They brought something.
They brought us something, and then you start putting up liquor stores on every corner. Like, it just, I think that is the fear of it looking similar to that,
Yes.
and having to, again, become knowledgeable of what this really is, and that it does not look like that.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, like I said, my first time ever hearing about a psychedelic, I was like, "What?"
What?
I was
Yeah.
like, why do you need to do that? Like, weed is all I do, brother."
Right. I am good on that.
But like you said, like the more we educate ourselves, the more we learn, the more we grow, we can, connect with these things. And I always tell people too, it's not about, us teaching these things. And we're not, like you said, shoving this down people's throat, like you should do it now, today. Like it's more so like, no, have that education. That way, you know how to support other people who may be going through a certain
Hmm.
experience. And you can also have an understanding like, okay, this isn't what somebody has conditioned or convinced me that it is. It's what I know it to be because I've did my due diligence, I've did my research, and now I can see how it has benefited so many people and it has did so many different things for people. And yeah, I may not agree with doing it myself, but at least I have the understanding behind it. Like I know
Hmm.
a lot of people when I worked in the cannabis industry, people would come in, they wouldn't have an issue with THC, but they just didn't prefer to do it themselves. So they would get something that was non-intoxicating like CBD that could still benefit, with pain and anxiety and just stress overall, inflammation. So I think just even that, even having the simplest understanding is going to be so beneficial for just us as a people. And do you feel like having support there with you was like something that helps you through your experience?
Yes, honey. Girl. Um, I needed I needed that blanket. I needed that pillow. I needed the tea, the water, everything. Like, when I think about support, it's definitely the person that's helping facilitate the experience, right? And when I say facilitate, they're really just here holding your hands, like, oh, okay, we getting up. You all right? You need to go for a walk. You need a hug. You need to know that you're here. You're
Yes.
safe. Come back. um, but having the other tangible items too were really helpful supports. Calming music was really helpful, right? I can imagine what that trip would have been like if I was listening to Young Jeezy. Although that's my man. Okay. It's just it's a different experience. You know, my president's black, my Lambo's it's just a different experience, I'm sure. I probably would have been like, I'm a dope dealer. I don't know. I probably it is best to have good, calming music if it's your first time. That's just my little advice to the people. Take it easy on the trap music, friends. You'll thank me.
And I'm always so intrigued by people who say they take like mushrooms and they go to a music concert and the music concert
Girl,
be like 2 Chains and I'll be like, you did what?
I'm gonna go see Cleo Soul. What are you what?
Give me Janae Aiko, like
Okay.
I can't.
Bring me calm. Okay, I can't. Because listen, the other side of that is me really thinking like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a thug. No, you're not. Sit down. Sit down.
Like, look at me, stay with me here. You're not.
Right. You're not a thug. But I am.
Truly.
Truly in this other dimension. I trap hard.
Like, oh, that's what I was in my past life.
Yeah.
Okay, so our last question for today. Now that you've experienced your own experience, what would you want other therapists, educators, or people curious about psychedelics to understand that you may have not understood about before your journey?
Hmm. I would say I think it's a matter of like you said earlier, respect the medicine, respect. I have a greater respect for it, and I think that's the thing that I would want to have everybody understand. And like you said, the respect for a person's process, and what they're doing. I also would say um, before my experience, you know, maybe I did come in with this thought process of like, I can do it this one time, I'll be healed, but it is one of those things like if it is something that it does take this one time, understanding that for what it is, right? That it's not going to fix all your problems. You're not, I was a little disappointed. I was like, why am I not euphoric still? This was supposed to stay with me forever. I was sad. Damn it. Reality set back in. I was like, okay. And to realize like this isn't a miracle drug. It's not. It actually is meant to help like, bring to the surface some of the things that are really deep, and processing it. So maybe you do it one time. Maybe there are several sessions that you find yourself having to do because there's so many different depths in that we need to explore, right? And so um, I think that is probably the thing that I did not understand before my journey and will apply with my knowledge now and sharing that information too. This is not a miracle drug. It's not going to fix all your problems, and you will not walk away being the happiest camper on the block. However, it did make me feel a sense of calm and a sense of peace um, that did stay with me, and the awareness of, oh wait, that little peace bubble is coming down. What happened? We got to get it back.
Right.
Don't and it made me work harder to make sure that I kept that and I maintained that as best as I could.
Very much so. Yeah, that's amazing. Uh, go mushrooms.
Go mushrooms. Yeah.
Well, this is the end of our talk, our conversation. I appreciate you so much for just sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and just your understanding and your experience with plant medicine. So we definitely have to do this again. I would love to have you on again because I feel like there's so many different avenues that are coming up when it comes to psychedelics and
Hmm.
so many different conversations that we could talk about. So I would definitely love to have you back on if you're up for it. And is there anything that you would like to say to the audience? Any information, any way that they can reach out to you or find you, especially if they're interested in like mental health therapy or therapy
Yes.
sessions?
So I do have my private practice, Serenity Healing Counseling Center. You can go to my website, serenityhealingcc.com. There you can get in contact with me for us to schedule a 15-minute consultation to see what we can do together if we're a good fit. And then also, I provide trainings, not necessarily on this topic, but on a range of other topics concerning mental health. And that is with Cultivating Minds. So that's cultivatingmindsllc.com. So I would give out my social media, but unfortunately, I don't be remembering my social media handles that very well. That's a whole nother drug to blame.
Listen, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So yeah, that's how you can find me.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, I thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. And I look forward to connecting. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This is Beyond the Mask, where we talk about destigmatizing plant medicine and educating people on plant medicine and how to connect with plant medicine. And of course, this is all for educational purposes only. Please do your due diligence and your own research and just become aware of what you want to do for you. All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.